Greetings, everyone. Grand Rising, depending where you are joining us in the world. My name is Naa Amerley Asante-Armar. You are tuned into Girls Make Me Talk. I am standing in for the lovely Miss Pearl, who is a little a little poorly at the moment. So we send her love and best wishes for her recovery. So I'm standing in this week, and this week I am thrilled to be bringing to you live Assistant Najar Nyakio Munyinyi, who is talking to us about the power of the intuitive womb. Before I let her speak, I would just like to say welcome particularly to Power to Our Mothers Foundation Africa, and also in collaboration with Speak Up and Empower, which is an online, heart-focused community which centers on building communities, businesses, relationships that enable people to create what they love, quite simply. And Power to Our Mothers Foundation Africa, we work with women, mothers and mother figures and girls to help them empower themselves on multiple levels so that as they thrive, everybody else thrives. So you are welcome. One ask of you is to please drop a comment. Let us know where in the world that you are joining us from today, what country. And it's always great to know where we are connected with people. So, Sister Najar Nyakio, welcome to the platform. Um, I will allow you to greet the platform before we get into this conversation today.
Greetings, everybody. How are you? Um, I'm happy to be here. Naa Amerley. I've just been watching you in another program just now about African women and the rise of President Samia Suluhu as the first African woman president. And
Yes.
it was an exciting show, and it is an exciting time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It is an exciting time. There is a lot going on. We did obviously offer our condolences to our brothers and sisters in Tanzania who are mourning a loss. But as you reminded us, the cycle of life follows death, follows life, and we can choose that if we revered him, late great John Pombe Magufuli, in a certain way, that we trust that he's left the nation in good hands, in the hands of Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan. So we send the nation, our brothers and sisters, we send them our warm wishes, our regards, and particularly to us, our fellow women, because you'll hear more about that, Mama Samia, that she is supported in the way that she needs to be to now lead this nation. Yes, so it is exciting. So today, the power of the intuitive womb. It sounds like a book, and if so, it's definitely one I would imagine that each of us need to read. Where where is what is the difference, I guess? So we're talking about the womb. What is the difference between a womb and an intuitive womb? Is there a difference?
No, there's no difference. Uh, a lot of time, when I start, so I'm going to say this for the sake of an introduction.
Thank you.
Um, we, I call ourselves womb men. That is spelled WOMB, womb men. We are not man. We are women. That is men with wombs, just as we have humans, we have
Yes, I think
human beings, and and therefore we have womb men. This is not a competition, it is just the way we are made. We have womb men and we have men who have penises, and that is just the way it is. So now, the womb.
Mhm.
The womb is an organ which we're not taught much about, sadly. But the womb consists of several parts, and it begins at the base of our spines, and from the base of our spines, it continues on to what are known as the ovaries. Inside the ovaries, you have what are called the ova or the eggs, and then we have the fallopian tubes, and then from the fallopian tubes, we have what is known as the womb sac. Okay, sac, like a sac. And then we have from there, the end of the sac is called the cervix. It's a little muscle and it's mostly closed. And then from there we have the vaginal canal. And then we have what are called the outer parts of the womb. Um, the outer parts of the womb is like how we can say that our noses are the outer part of our respiratory system. They're part of our trachea, they're part of our lungs, okay? But we can see our noses, we can't see the trachea, we can't see our lungs, okay? So the outer part of the wombs are what are called the vulva and the clitoris. Those are all part of the womb. Now, these are organs just like I said, your nose, your eyes, your mouth, they're all organs and they're all part of us. When we are little children, we are taught, we go to school and we're taught how to recognize words with our eyes, letters. We're taught A, B, C, D, E, and we're taught how to recognize the letters A, B, C, D, E. We're also taught how to recognize scents. Okay, we're taught this is what a coffee bush smells like. This is how cow manure smells like. This is how coffee smells like. This is what a rose smells like. Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay. We also are taught by our parents how to taste, right? So we're taught this is how an apple tastes. This is how ice cream tastes. This is how the difference between sweet and sour.
Sure.
What we're not taught is how to recognize what our womb senses. We're not taught that.
Womb
And
sense.
yes, womb
Okay.
sense.
Mhm.
And when we do feel that something is right or wrong, or we are told that it is nonsense. So we're told that we should not rely on what is called the womb's sense, which is also called woman intuition.
Right. The womb sense, aka woman's intuition.
Yes,
And we're told not to, well, we're told it's nonsense, as in to disregard it.
yes. None means null, void, it doesn't exist. And it's the opposite in actual fact, because all girls are born with wombs. That's why we are called women. And these wombs
Yeah.
are already formed in our mother's womb at 22 weeks. In our mother's womb, we're already gathering information, okay? Because we have nerve endings in our own wombs and in our whole body. So let me put it this way. We are born with noses which have a certain number of nerve endings. Our noses collect information called sense. Scent.
So,
SCENTS. Our eyes collect information, which is called sight. Our ears, both of them collect information, which is called what? Hearing.
sound.
That's that's vibration. Our wombs also collect information because we have between our ovaries. Okay, remember I said it's connected, our ovaries are connected to our spinal cord. They are connected with a group of nerves, which are called the uterovaginal
Mr.
plexus.
Najar, I think the sound is cutting out. I think you said, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I can hear you.
Are we back?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. Great. Sorry, it could have been
Okay.
my end. The last thing I heard was
Okay.
that, yes, remember we have ovaries. So,
And we're connected to the ovaries. Sister Na has just disappeared, so I'll just continue. So we're connected to the ovaries. The ovaries are connected to the uterovaginal plexus, which is a group of nerves, a whole collection of nerves. The same way that we have a collection of nerves around our chest, we have, as wombmen, we have this extra set of nerve endings which are connected to the womb. And as we have this as women, we don't have, men do not have this because they don't have wombs. Again, it is not a competition. This is just the way that we are made, right? So it's not a competition. It is to understand that this is how that we are made. So what happens is that these nerves, they collect information, and they collect information from the moment they are created. And when are they created? All these are formed in us as women in our mother's wombs at 22 weeks. So even if we are not, we're not, can you call it, we are not in the, we're not born, we're not in the physical world, we still have the ability to pick up information. And this information is stored, okay? It's stored in this uterovaginal plexus. Also remember that our ova, okay, stores genetic information. Yeah. And
so
yes, so all this is information which we are already born with. So when we are born, we sense, we have this huge extra womb sense. Sense in this in the sense of we have this intuition. That's what it's called, this sense. It's womb intuition. And those are
okay.
thousands upon thousands of nerves. And you can check it up. They call it minor, okay? We've had a problem with our womb being disregarded, which is why they call these nerves minor. But they call them minor starting from the 1950s, which is not so very long ago. Our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, our ancestors, our women, our midwives, they knew that these nerves existed. And that is why women have always been honored in Africa. And that is why men are told in our cultures that they cannot talk unless they are married to a what? A woman.
They can't talk unless they're married to a woman. Is that
They
what you
can't
said?
be in the they can't be in the elder cycle. No.
Wow. Okay. We
Yeah.
definitely need you to come back for a part two. I'm not saying we finish right now, but just that alone, the fact that, almost they are, yeah, they do not have, they only have permission to be somewhere in the realm with our say so. That is a whole nother conversation that it leads me back to the question I wanted to ask previously, very early on, which I will now ask. You said that we are not usually taught this. I don't want to assume. So, why, in your knowledge and understanding, why are we not taught about our wounds?
Um, Politics, capitalism, colonialism, the erosion of our cultures, because it is not, our culture is not one of, okay, let me be frank, right?
Yes, please.
The culture where the womb is degenerated and abused begins with what is called the story of Eve. But Eve
Okay.
is a white woman. She's not an African woman.
Hmm.
So it's not our story. What's our story? Our story is that of Ma'at. And Ma'at was an African goddess. And her womb, her African womb, meant balance, it meant life, it meant truth, it meant justice. What I would ask is that all of us, we go back to our mother tongue, and I'm saying this, mother, and find out what does the word mother mean in your tongue. And you will find there a truth because it will describe who the womb man is. Because we never had terms like woman. We had terms which meant mother, okay? Or we had a term which meant a person who is just, is wise, is true, and who brings life. And we did not have this dishonoring of our women. This is a very new thing. We were not, our women were not born with sin.
So this, and
Our
this is to
women,
be clear. Sorry,
yes,
sister. This is to be clear for the viewers. This is talking about us as African women.
yes, this is
Hmm.
African woman. Because so the African woman, the girl, she was not born wrong. She was not
Hmm.
born with sin. She was not born with all these negative qualities. She was born with a womb, okay? So therefore, we used to teach what the womb was. And we would listen to our little girls and we would tell them, okay, yeah, you can listen to your instincts. But today we're told no. We teach our girls how to not listen. So every time they feel something, your girl comes to you and tells you something as a child, you tell her, no, that is not true. It is impossible. And where is the story of impossibility coming from? It's coming from a person who does not have a womb, so he cannot experience what a womb is. And I'll say this frankly, I cannot speak for a man because I do not have that organ that he has. So I cannot speak for how he feels, okay? But I can speak for a woman. Now, a man cannot speak and say that a woman, how she feels, because he does not have a womb. So he does not know how a womb feels.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, I think one of the last things I want to ask you, the time has gone quick, so we really do have to have like a part two. We'll have Miss Pearl have you on again. Is there, from your perspective or in truth, is there a difference between what some refer, well, let's start with what you said. Is there a difference between our womb sense, our intuition, and what some refer to as a gut instinct or a gut feeling? Please do
Yes,
explain.
yes. We all have guts. We all have stomachs. We all have what is called a solar plexus. And if you look it up, a solar plexus is also a collection of nerves. We all have this. But only women have the uterovaginal uh, system, okay? Only women have the womb, okay? And the womb collects so much information. There's one time when I gave this example, so let me just give it again. We have what is called, right at the end of the womb, a clitoris, right? And the way the clitoris is shaped is that when a woman goes to urinate, right, the urine passes over the clitoral hood. And the clitoral hood passes back the information what minerals the woman is losing in her urine. And the woman then goes and gets what is called an urge to eat a particular food. They're called food cravings. Now, I don't know of any man who really has strong food cravings, but I know women who have really strong food cravings. And the reason that they crave that food, that particular food, is because her clitoral hood has told her body, listen, you need this, or you need this, or you need that to balance yourself. Because the womb itself is an organ, like I said, which is a balancer. It balances you as a woman, it balances your health. I usually say that the womb is at the core of three gates, the triple gates. The, the gates of your physical self, the gates of your spiritual self, and the gates of your mental self as
Mhm.
well. Okay? Because when the womb is sick, let me tell you, you are also sick. If you have endometriosis or some disease of the womb, it
Yeah.
will affect not only your physical but also your mental. So it is at the core of me. So this clitoris goes and signals and says, listen, body, you need to eat A, B, C, D, E. That is a womb instinct. That is a sense. It's just telling you, listen, you need this. Go and eat it. Yeah.
Mm. Mhm.
Men don't do this. A man could eat potatoes all his life. Won't make a difference.
Yeah, I think many people would relate, as in this point you made about men not really having cravings, and I think from observation, people may say that, oh, cravings, we tend to notice them when a woman is pregnant. It kind of gets pigeonholed to that when she is, but then it makes sense in terms of her body giving her signals as to what she should take, because especially then, now she's nurturing a new life. And we know about, how we have to keep ourselves in certain health when we're pregnant. I think the other thing that comes to mind is when women are menstruating and the cravings then also that that we have. So it's not coincidental. I think they're the ones that maybe we most obviously, now hearing what you said, could see them at play. But but from what you say, I'm concluding that, well, basically, if that is the function of the clitoris, the clitoral hood, then that information is being received all the time when it's
Yes,
working, I assume.
yes, yes. And when we listen to it, but you see, a little girl comes to you and says, I'm craving this or I'm craving that, and you're like, no, you're not supposed to eat right now,
Yes,
or
very
you're
true.
craving this, or you're. So we're taught very young, don't listen to your body. We're taught that from very, very, very young.
Mm,
And we're forced fed, we're forced taught, we're taught new narratives, but we're not taught to listen to ourselves. So that is why many women don't listen to their instincts and they're scared to. So what I usually say is this: start slow. Begin to listen to yourself. Start
mm,
slow because your body talks to you all the time. So listen to it, right?
mm,
And when you listen to it, make a notation of it. So if your womb tells you today, if you get this, what you're calling a gut instinct, but it's not really a gut instinct, it's your womb instinct. So if it tells you, do this today, okay, think
mhm.
about it. Maybe you won't do it, maybe you'll do it. But write it down and make a notation of it and remember it. And the next time when you feel that same thing, recognize it, think about it, and then do it again. So what happens is that you begin to train yourself to listen to your womb instinct, and you begin to rely on yourself. When it says do this or do that, I'll tell you
Mm,
something else. The other biggest organ that we have is our skin. We
yeah,
have so much skin, okay? And our womb is also, our nerves are connected to our skin.
yeah,
And our skin is always picking up vibrations, okay, which go also to where? To our womb and to the uterovaginal plexus. So what we need to do is just be observant of ourselves. When you hear something, stop squashing it, okay? Don't squash it like a bug. Listen, okay?
mm,
Put it somewhere, put it in your memory bank. So next time it comes up, you put it back up, you take it out, you look at it, you say, is this true? Is it? And in time, you'll begin to develop your instinct because you're starting to develop what is called a muscle. The same way when you go training, when you go to the gym, what are you told? You're told train whichever part of your body it is, but do it slowly. Don't do it
yeah,
fast. Do it slowly,
it's true.
okay?
Mm,
Slowly until you get into it. And in time, you will develop that muscle. So develop your womb instinct, develop your muscle, start listening to yourself.
mhm.
Yeah, start listening and putting it here and go slowly, but start listening.
Thank you so much. There obviously is a lot in what you said, and especially the last thing. I think maybe the next time we'll see if Miss Pearl will host you in actually just describing, because the whole concept, notion, information we have about intuition and where it comes from. We don't usually associate intuition with our womb. I think that is something, well, apart from those of you who have educated yourselves and learned this, it often it seems to come from like a higher place, almost like a divine intelligence. Now, you could say that we as women, as women with wombs, um, what we're here to do. You could say we often talk of the divine feminine, so maybe there's that aspect of it. But I think it would be very helpful next time to talk about more about, yes, the intuition. And because what I hear you saying is that the intuition does come from our womb, and there is a reason. That's what we've not talked about now. That we'll get you to touch on next time. What is the reason that we are gifted with all of this information? Um, but for now, I would encourage our viewers, especially our fellow womb men, to heed the practical tips the Sister Najara has left us with in terms of flex. I would put it like flexing your intuitive muscle. Start retraining yourself because the skill has been disabled. So now we have to retrain, we have to remember or retrain ourselves how to listen to those instincts that we get that maybe we can't explain, so we dismiss because we've been taught to
Mhm.
dismiss them. I love the point about to note it down so that we can kind of track. Oh, actually, I felt like this another time, and this is what happened. I think that's very important. So thank you for that. I personally will take that one away. Sister Najar, do you have a parting message for our viewers until the next time you come back to join us?
Oh, do I have any parting shots? No. Um,
Okay, you don't have to.
just it's been a lovely long day. Maybe my parting shot would be this: that it it takes courage to sit back and start thinking about your womb in a good light, because we've been taught for so long that our wombs are not good from little girls. Our parents don't want girls, they want boys. Our periods are bad, they're supposed to be painful. um a woman is not good for anything. The only thing that she's good for is sex. So beginning to think about the womb in a positive sense is a huge step. So I would ask your viewers, now Amerley, to begin to learn about the power of the womb. Now I have a podcast show. It's
Mhm.
called the Maa'itu Podcast Show. I think now Amerley, you can put the link
I'll put the link. Yes.
below, right?
Hmm.
So that you can begin listening in to what the womb really is. Because we don't think about it and we write it off a lot, especially as African women. And it's one of the first steps is to understand what the womb is. And in understanding what the womb is, you begin to appreciate it. Because you can't appreciate something unless you understand it. And our history, our current history is an unappreciation of the womb.
Hmm.
So I would ask, as my parting shot, that you listen to the Maito podcast show. I usually have a podcast once a week, but if you start now, you have quite a number of weeks to catch up with. And begin to learn more about your womb. It's the most important organ in your body. If you're a woman, it's the most important organ in your body. So important that you're named after it.
Yes, indeed. And as you have explained to us, it's not spelled like that anymore. So we don't recognize that we are named after it. The fact that we are, as you say, woe man or woe men, as opposed to womb man or men. I think that's a big, we wouldn't make the connection, not until we speak to the likes of yourselves, you who have studied this. Yeah, to say, oh, wow. And again, that's another whole conversation because not only are we taught to feel bad or negative about the womb, it's like we're not even supposed to see the womb, as in it's erased from our, whether we can't see it, we can't talk about it. It's like it's supposed to be invisible. So yes, sorry, I'm just dropping the link for viewers to the Maa'itu podcast show. Sister Najar, thank you for joining me again. Viewers, I'm sorry you're left with me today and not your girl, Miss Pearl, but hopefully she'll get better soon, and you will see her next week, 7:30 p.m. GMT, and we will definitely have Ms. Najar, Queen Najar, back on to join us to tell us more about what we're not tolding about, not what we're not being told about in terms of our womb. And until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, however you are spending it. All the best.